Vic Fangio, Rich Scangarello versus Mike Zimmer and Gary Kubiak. And our man James Merrillat this week on 1043thefan.com wrote a piece suggesting and utilizing quotes from Chris Harris Jr., which I thought was very smart of James in making his argument. Are the Broncos really running the Gary Kubiak offense? And here's what Harris had to say. Kirk Cousins is running Kubiak's offense to perfection right now. They keep him under center on first and second down. From there, they can do a lot of play action, a lot of boots, and a lot of screens. It's throwing people off guard the way they're running the football. Harris added, they do way more zone than our offense. You know how Coobs is. He runs his zone offense, trying to make everything look the same. That's what they've done a good job at. Kirk has done a good job of playing out the fakes, having great plays that look similar to drop to screens and get them open. I think they're one of the better screen teams that we play. No one playing defense against Denver goes into a game saying the Denver Broncos are one of the best screen teams we play. Yeah, Nobody says that.
They don't run screens. The Broncos do not run screens. They do not run draws. They just do not do it for whatever the reason may be. I like how James used Chris Harris quotes because that's the whole thing. When you talk about that Shanahan tree, right? You talk about that Shanahan offense. It is built so everything looks the same, and you have just different variations of it. So right now, I look at Minnesota. Minnesota's rolling, but their running back is rolling, and Dalvin Cook. I look at now the Shanahan tree offense out there with the Rams. Well, it's not rolling because I don't care what you tell me. There's something wrong with Todd Gurley. He doesn't look the same. And that offense, that Shanahan tree offense, it's designed so whatever running back is back there, he has to be successful. And when he's successful, that's what opens up everything else for the offense.
Right.
You talk about Chris Harris talking about running zone after zone. You know how Coobs does it. Well, there's games that I look at Rick Scangarello. I don't even know if it's a zone team or a power scheme or a gap scheme, what we're running here. So I could have answered that question. The Broncos are definitely not running the Shanahan tree offense. It's definitely not even from the Kubiak or the Sean McVays. It's not like that. It's Rick Scangarello trying to figure out his own identity. For whatever reason, he has been successful. He got a job under one of the best play callers under the NFL, but for whatever reason, he's trying to now create his own identity, and it's not working. So you might as well just go back. Come on back. Let's come on back to the Shanahan tree because that offense is proven, and I talked to a lot of guys about it. I talked to guys like Charlie Adams, Reuben Jones, Tatum Bell, these guys that have played in that offense, and they all say the exact same thing, Sandy. They said once this offense is up and running and you have the right quarterback for it, it's unstoppable.
In fairness to Rich Scangarello, he wasn't the one who chose Joe Flacco. That was John Elway making that trade. And Rich Scangarello didn't make that trade. I don't know. Maybe he recommended that the Broncos do it. Maybe he didn't. I have no idea. But Joe Flacco was in this offense for 1 year, and Gary Kubiak was smart enough to take advantage of Joe Flacco's strengths. And Joe Flacco didn't mind lining up under center, so that was fine.
But
they
younger,
weren't doing
though.
a lot of bootlegs and stuff. But they were throwing the ball down the field and playing to his strengths. And you're exactly right. He was in his 20s then.
He was younger. He was more athletic. And this offense, when you talk about the 9-hole zone scheme and the 8-hole zone scheme where that quarterback has to get under center now and now reverse out and now sprint basically to go hand that ball off. Yeah. I've seen Peyton Manning practicing these steps and footwork because it's not an easy thing to do.
No, it isn't.
And
it's
Joe
very hard.
Flacco was a lot younger when he had that success
and Joe Flacco
under Gary Kubiak.
Trouble this year doing that, doesn't he?
Oh, absolutely. He looks like he's hurting when he's trying to run out there to sprint out there to pass the ball off. But if you're not able to do that and now turn around quickly and fake the throw or be throwing the ball, the offense doesn't work. So John Elway should have never signed Joe Flacco when you knew that that's the type of offense that you're trying to run. It just didn't fit.
Didn't fit.
I get that you saw him do it a couple years ago with Gary
When
Kubiak, but he was a lot younger.
He was 29 then. He's 34 now. Yeah, that's the difference. And Kirk Cousins was drafted by Mike Shanahan, much to the consternation of many within the Redskins organization because they had already taken RG3 with a first-round pick and given up a truckload. And here's Mike drafting Kirk Cousins.
Isn't it the same draft class, right?
Knew. Yeah.
Same draft class.
Yeah, same draft class.
And he
People
knew
said he was nuts.
that this quarterback fits his system better. And you see what's going on in Minnesota right now. It doesn't matter about Kirk Cousins' arm.
RG3 was the showbiz pick that Daniel Snyder wanted him to.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter about Kirk Cousins' arm. It doesn't matter if Kirk Cousins can line up in front of that little net thing and throw the ball through the three little holes every time. It doesn't matter about that. It matters that he could pivot out and sprint out to that running back. But now if he doesn't hand it off to the running back, he could also set up and throw the ball down the field. So everything looks the same. I watched the game last week when Minnesota was playing against Dallas. And guess what?
Dallas was completely
Guys
confused.
are wide open down the field because
totally
they think
confused.
that it's a run when it's actually a pass. It just looks the exact same.
Dallas linebackers are really good.
Oh, that linebacker core is great.
And they looked lost.
Yeah.
All of them didn't know what to do. Didn't know run or pass. Didn't know where to go. No. I mean, that was a tremendous coaching job last week by Kubiak and his offensive brain trust.